Hey everybody, Mega Ruler 31 from FSI DFS here to cover the night slate. 6 games starting at 7:05 p.m. for Saturday, 4/24. We'll just do a quick preview here for you so you can make your lineups and get back on and enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you've got some nice weather for you out there. A lot of weather to talk about on this slate. Um, the first 3 games are going to be a little bit questionable, especially the first game, Oakland and Baltimore. Looks like we're looking at rain to start the game, progressively getting worse up until like 90% later on in the game. So even if it does start, I don't think it goes very far. And I don't think I'll be able to resume play for that one. So I am fading both pitchers and bats, which is sad because Oakland was in a very good situation again to hit has the highest total on the slate, 5.33. So first game before lock, so watch the weather. Maybe something changes. If so, then I'd change my mind on that. But other than that, I'm out on that. Next game up would be Texas and Chicago White Sox. There, it looks like it's going to be some rain. So I think it's still safe. I think maybe a delay, but it looks like it's going to clear up after that. So definitely potential to get that one in. Pitching wise, don't really like Gibson against the White Sox bats. I do like Dallas Keuchel possibly at 6.7 or 6.3 to he's a low strikeout pitcher, but Texas does strike out a lot, so that should help his cause there. I think, even with the game being wet, a little bit of weather concern, that he can do what he needs to do to get through. As for bats, don't really like the Texas bats. White Sox, definitely like them, and I think it's probably more of a GPP play. But if Abreu is in the lineup, he's got like 4 home runs versus Gibson, so definitely somebody to take. But one-off in cash are definitely part of a GPP lineup. Braves against Arizona, also weather concerns. Braves have a really nice 5.32 total, so hopefully this one does play, but it looks like if it does play, it might get interrupted. So starting pitching is definitely going to be dicey here. Smiley does look like a decent play on the slate if the weather does hold up. 8.2, some K upside. Arizona isn't a high strikeout team, but they're not a great team offensively. So Smiley is definitely risky. I don't think I'd play him in cash, but if things do look good, this game starts at 7:20, so it's only about 15 minutes after lock. We should have a good idea of if they're going to be delayed or what the picture is for that to make a decision. GPP wise, that's my favorite stack of the day is to take the Braves, especially the righties. Unfortunately, Acuna is up to 6.4. He's higher than anybody in Coors Field. It's just he's hot. He's doing really well. And the last video I said he's over 6K. I'm not playing him. He had 2 home runs, so he definitely paid off his price. So, and versus Madison Bumgarner, he's got the split advantage. I like all the righties here against Bumgarner. So if this game looks good, I think the Braves are one of my favorite GPP stacks to take. So I think the chalk for bats is going to be in Coors Field. The weather actually looks decent there. So Philly has a 5.74 total. The Rockies have a 4.26 total. Senzatella, I wouldn't touch him as a pitcher. Nola is intriguing. The Rockies are not as good as they've been in the past. Missing some bats that they used to have in this lineup. No more Arenado for them. So they're not the best hitting team. So I could see Nola getting some strikeouts and doing well there. Probably give up some runs, but not get completely touched up. At 8.8, he's kind of in dead man's land there. I'd rather have Smiley at 6K less or some other pitchers we'll talk about coming up, but he will take you down off of the higher pitchers that are in the game facing each other later on too. So Nola, I said, is don't rule him out, but I wouldn't play him in cash. But if you want to put him in a GPP, I'm fine with that. Bat-wise, definitely like the Philly side of it here. They're definitely not priced up for Coors except for Harper, who's 6K. But Real Muto 5.3. That's pretty high. But Hoskins at 4.8 seems cheap. Gregorius at 4.9. He did sit out a couple games ago. Looked fine yesterday. He was our poster boy yesterday. I think he put up like 6 DK points. Didn't have a huge game, but it's still third baseman. He has some power. Only at 3.8 in Coors. Definitely somebody that I like. Brad Miller got scratched. If he's in the lineup at his price at 3.4, if you want to sacrifice Hoskins at first base, you want to be a little bit different. He definitely is some value there. And I don't mind any of the extra outfielders or whoever plays second base they throw in there. If it's Moan, Nick, or um, anybody that's on this Philly team that's playing that's under 4K is definitely worth a look. McCutcheon up top, 4.2 continues to be a good value also. On the Coors side of the Rocky side of the ball, Tapia, he continues to be cheap leading off. He's got the splits advantage against Tapia. Actually, he's averaged 11 DK points over the last 5 games. So I think he had like 20 yesterday, 9, a 2, and then like a 12 or a 13. So he's been doing decent. McMahon, his price has come down. It's a little bit more reasonable. It was over 5K yesterday. Story is at 5. Blackman 4-3. He started out slow. He's not leading off anymore, but he's got the splits advantage. Cron had a home run yesterday. Anybody, I pretty much these are where you want to go for the bats tonight, is figure out what combination you want from here, mix and match, and it's a good hitting situation. The weather's decent, so if you want to sprinkle some of the Braves, and like I said, as one-off or White Sox, that's fine. But I think you primarily want your bats here. So next game is the Marlins and the Giants, 7 total. Second lowest on the slate. It's actually the total is identical between the Marlins and the Giants and the Padres and the Dodgers. And it's funny, on both sides of the ball, it's the exact same for both games, which is kind of weird. But the Marlins are 3.19, Giants are 3.81. You have Pablo Lopez going against Kevin Gausman. I like both those pitchers in cash. I'm even considering playing both of them. I know, you lose the win equity because only one of them could get the win there, but with the weather games, like the bullpens might get the win in Coors. Who knows, if who's going to get the win. And then the final game, you've got 2 really good pitchers going against each other with 2 really good offenses. So the win's up in the air anyway. So not really playing for the win. I'm playing for 2 reasonably priced pitchers with some K upsides against some average offenses. So at times Miami and San Francisco have hit well. At times they have not. But I think, the weather's decent here. It's in San Francisco. It's more of a pitcher's park. And I'm just going to hope for a pitching duel. I'm going to lock in these 2 pitchers. And at 6'9" and 7'6", that definitely opens up a lot of salary for me to get some of those expensive Brave bats. And if I'm going the GPP route, or anybody from Coors, if I'm playing them in cash. So bat wise, of course, there's one-offs here that, Brandon Belt's always decent against a righty. Jazz Chisholm continues to be hot. He might move up to the top of the lineup against a righty here. Duvall's been good. Corey Dickerson, I played it as a one-off all year. Even if I need to take a one-off against a pitcher here, if it fits and makes the rest of my lineup work, I'm going to do that. And finally, we end the slate with San Diego Padres against the Los Angeles Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Again, same total, 3.19 for the Padres and 3.81 for the Dodgers. Trevor Bauer, the most expensive pitcher on the slate at 11K. He's higher than DeGrom was yesterday. And DeGrom threw a complete game against Washington, who's not anywhere close to the offensive threat that San Diego is. So I don't get the pricing. Maybe it's just because yesterday was a 14-game slate and this is a 6-game slate. But I think I'm out on that. I don't hate you for playing him. He's a really good pitcher. He seems like he has the longer leash with David Robinson. I don't know if it was part of his contract when he was traded that he was allowed to stay in games as long as he wanted and he wouldn't get pulled. But we all know Dodgers have one of the best bullpens in the Major League Baseball. So if he runs into trouble against the Padres, then he'll get the hook and the bullpen will come in and mix and match and do what they need to do to win the game. You have Blake Snell on the other side, hasn't gone over 5 innings. He's a really good pitcher. He will be. I think they're trying to stretch him out. I know this is probably his 5th start, so you think he'd be getting there by now. Is tonight? I don't know, but I'm not paying 9.4. Again, I'd rather pay down for another pitcher. I'd rather take like Nola and Coors over against Rockies lineup in a good hitting park versus taking Snell, who's probably going to get pulled after 5, has a little bit of K upside, but against the Dodgers who have really good plate discipline, they don't strike out much. So you don't really have K upside. You've got a good offense, and I don't think I'll be playing. I know I won't be playing Billy Lakes now, and I recommend that you would only play him in GPP if you're really looking for a leverage play and you're multi-entering like in like 150 lineups or 20 max or something like that. So bat wise, you can take either one. I said GPP strategy in like $1. Take a Padres stack in one of the games. Take a Dodger stack in the other one. But I don't really like any of these in cash except for Manny Machado. He does have 4 home runs against Bauer. So if you're looking for a one-off in a GPP, I'd rather play Baum at third base in cash. So just to wrap things up, pitching wise, I'm going in the middle. I'm probably taking Pablo Lopez and versus Gosman in that game. But I did say that Nola's okay if you're okay with the risk of playing against Colorado and Coors. Smiley if the weather holds up okay, and then Keiko, not much K upside, but against the Rangers, they might inflate his total naturally just because they're such a free swinging team. Again, for bats, I like the White Sox against Gibson. I really like the Braves against the Diamondbacks. We just have to watch the weather there. They're a little bit pricey, but I think they'll get to Madison Bumgarner and put up a lot of runs there. I think the sweet spot to go is the Philly side of the Colorado team, but the Colorado has some decent bats that you can take. I favor Nola as a pitcher. He's decent, but maybe once they get to the Philly bullpen later on in the game, they might be able to produce some hits. But you do have some cheap bats as options, like I said, Talapia, and at only 3K leading off, definitely. San Francisco and the Marlins, like I said, bats for me would be one-offs. I wouldn't, unless you're multi-entering and just want to stack the game. That's the only avenue I'm going there. Low total, I think it's going to be a pitcher's duel. And like I said, final game, Manny Machado, I like him as a one-off. Cronenworth seems pretty cheap too at 3.4. He's got the split advantage against Bauer, but other than that, I'm really not looking at too many pieces unless they're last man in and they fit within the salaries within range. So thanks for watching. Give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hopefully this will help you build your lineups quickly so you can go out and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Until next time, Mega Ruler out.